God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "My beloved son, I see you crossing environments that once overwhelmed you, and now you notice something different. Calm no longer depends on circumstances, because it walks ahead of you. What once felt heavy now finds rest within you, not because life became simple, but because your inner being has matured. There was a time when you carried burdens I never gave you, expectations that did not come from me, guilt I never placed on your shoulders. You tried to sustain everything alone, believing that strength meant enduring in silence. But now, by the work of my Spirit, your discernment has been refined. Do you sense that you are ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes, all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and the blessings God has already prepared for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the interior and reflects on the exterior. If you desire to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click on the first comment. There, you will find a simple practice, guided with love, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. You are learning to release what does not belong to you and to sustain only what I entrusted to you. Behold, what is written is being fulfilled. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27 verse 1. That light has begun to illuminate areas of your soul that were once confused. Where there was noise, I established peace. Where there was haste, I planted confident waiting. Where there was fear of failure, I generated inner security. Do not fear this new inner state, for it is not emptiness, it is maturity. It is not escape, it is alignment. You did not become indifferent, you became steady. Comment, I receive the peace that comes from God and rest in His direction. Understand, my son, that this quietness now accompanying you is not a sign of stagnation, but evidence that you trust me more than the urgencies of the world. Before, your mind ran ahead of your spirit. Now, your heart has learned to wait for my rhythm. You no longer react to everything, because you discern what deserves your energy and what must be placed in my hands. This is the fruit of a treated heart. I led you through silent processes, long nights, and difficult decisions to teach you to remain whole, even when nothing around you seemed secure. And now, what once destabilized you no longer governs your emotions. You remain steady because you know who walks with you. As it is written, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah chapter 26 verse 3. This peace did not come from outside, it was born of surrender. I am teaching you that rest is also obedience. That letting go is an act of faith. That trusting is not passivity, it is spiritual maturity. Keep walking this way, attentive, sensitive, and firm. What I am building in you cannot be shaken by external pressures. This is the sign that your heart has finally learned to rest in me. Beloved son, you will begin to notice possibilities arising where there were once only closed doors and interrupted paths. This will not be the result of exhausting effort or emotional wear, but of spiritual positioning. The lightness now marking your steps does not come from the absence of challenges, but from the mature awareness that you no longer need to fight battles that were never yours. For a long time, you believed that growth required constant strain, that advancing meant bleeding in silence and proving worth through pain. But I am teaching you a deeper and safer path, agreement with me. When your will bows to mine, the weight naturally dissipates. You rise not by force, but by alignment. What seemed distant begins to draw near, because your interior has become a place prepared to receive. I do not release abundance over a disordered soul, but you were aligned in secret, on days no one saw, in moments when only I sustained you. Now your walk reflects this. There is grace in your rhythm, clarity in your decisions. This new ease is not fragility, it is spiritual maturity. Comment: I trust the timing and the alignment God has established for me. My son, you are fully attuned to the truth of who I always knew you were, even when you doubted yourself. What you called delay was, in fact, a sacred time of silent preparation. While your eyes saw stillness, I was making deep adjustments to your identity, healing distortions, removing emotional dependencies, and strengthening your roots. While the world did not notice you, I strengthened you within, teaching you to remain firm without applause and secure without external validation. Now, what was hidden begins to manifest. And as it is written, there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 7. Your time of manifestation has arrived. People will begin to react differently to your presence. They may not know how to explain it, but they will sense the weight of spiritual authority resting upon you. This is not arrogance, it is restored identity. It is not imposition, it is quiet conviction. You do not need to announce who you are, my presence in you will do that clearly. You are entering a version of yourself that can no longer be ignored, minimized, or devalued. There is something different in your gaze, in your posture, and in the way you occupy space. Your steps now carry firmness, not arrogance. Your voice carries substance, not a need for approval. Your choices reveal discernment, because they are no longer born of haste or fear of loss. This did not arise from human validation, but from my continuous influence shaping every area of your life. I worked in silence while you were tested, questioned, and even underestimated. Those who once did not see your value will begin to recognize it, not because you changed to please, but because you are finally whole. There is something unmistakable about someone who knows who they are in me. You no longer explain yourself, you position yourself. And this positioning alters environments, redefines conversations, and opens opportunities that once could not be sustained. Where you were once merely tolerated, you are now respected. Where you once had to prove yourself, you are now recognized. This is not forced promotion, it is the consequence of alignment. I removed from you the need to convince and clothed you with quiet authority. Continue this way, firm and sensitive to my voice, because when a son understands his identity, everything around him naturally reorganizes. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. My beloved, what is approaching is not merely something good, it is a deserved confirmation. Those who mistook your silence for defeat will now witness the fruit of what you built without applause. Those who interpreted your calm as stagnation will finally recognize the strength that was forged in hidden places. As it is written, those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 126 verse 5. You sowed faithfulness when no one was watching. You remained upright when it would have been easier to give up, to compromise, or to walk away. You chose integrity over recognition, obedience over comfort, and trust over fear. Every unseen prayer, every quiet sacrifice, every moment you stood firm while misunderstood has been recorded. Now the harvest begins to speak on your behalf. You will not need to defend your journey, explain your process, or justify your timing. The evidence will be visible, but the reward goes deeper than what eyes can see. I am just to honor not only the outcomes that others celebrate, but the invisible faithfulness that sustained you when praise was absent. What you carried in silence will now produce a sound of victory. Comment: I believe God honors what was done in secret. My child, those who believed you were forgotten will come to understand the truth. You were being prepared, protected, and precisely positioned. It was not delay, it was preservation. It was not rejection, it was redirection. While others rushed ahead without foundation, you were strengthened where no one could interfere. You are rising now not because your pain was greater than anyone else's, but because this is your appointed time. A time marked by me does not drag forward in confusion, it advances with intention. What once felt misplaced begins to align. What appeared disconnected now reveals its purpose. Pieces that made no sense before suddenly fit together with clarity. You did not miss your moment, you arrived ready. Ready in character, ready in wisdom, ready in discernment. You carry lessons that only waiting could teach and stability that only preparation could produce. When the door opens, you will walk through with confidence, not desperation. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be for what is coming next. Comment: I trust the perfect timing God has determined for me. My precious child, a deep shift is now unfolding. What once resisted you will begin to cooperate with you. Where there was friction, there will be flow. Where there was resistance, there will be alignment. Opportunities that once seemed distant will now seek you out. Clarity that felt unreachable will guide your steps with certainty. As it is written, the Lord will go before you. Isaiah chapter 52 verse 12. You will no longer need to force outcomes, chase validation, or strain to make things happen. The favor arriving does not come with pressure, anxiety, or exhaustion, it comes with harmony. You will sense how the atmosphere responds differently to your presence. Conversations shift. Doors open naturally. Help appears at the right moment. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. Heaven responds more swiftly now because your heart is aligned, your motives are purified, and your trust is steady. You will recognize this season by its ease, not because the assignment is small, but because you are prepared. What once required effort will now move with grace. Comment: I receive God's favor flowing gently over my life. You are entering a time where progress replaces prolonged waiting, and peace takes the place of constant struggle. The clarity of your purpose becomes stronger than any lingering doubt. The world may not yet understand who you have become, but that does not weaken you, it strengthens you. You no longer need to be explained to be effective. Watch how the environment around you begins to change. Conversations change. Relationships change. Doors change. Expectations change. You have changed. And that transformation carries my mark. What once drained you will no longer have power over you. What once confused you will no longer define you. You walk with discernment, stability, and quiet authority. This is not a temporary lift, it is a new station. You will recognize this season by the calm in your spirit and the consistency of your steps. Even challenges will no longer feel overwhelming, because you now move from identity, not insecurity. You are not striving to become, you are walking as who you already are. This new season bears my signature, and it will sustain you. Comment: I accept the new season God has opened before me. My beloved child, there is a season now unfolding around you that is unlike the ones you have known before. This is not a time that asks you to force your steps or strain your spirit. It is a time shaped by clarity, where your choices rise from deep understanding rather than exhaustion. You are no longer reacting to life from wounds or from survival. You are responding from awareness. That is why things feel quieter inside you, even as movement begins around you. What once required effort now flows with discernment. What once felt heavy now feels aligned. This is not because the road has become easy, but because you have become steady. I have watched you grow into this inner firmness, and I trust what you have become. I trust the way you listen, the way you pause, the way you move with intention rather than impulse. You may not fully see the weight of who you are now, but others sense it clearly. There is a shift in you that cannot be hidden, a calm authority that speaks even when you are silent. You carry a quiet power that was not given suddenly, but formed through endurance. You passed through fire without allowing the flames to define you. You learned how to stand when no one clapped, how to breathe when answers were delayed, how to remain whole when pieces of your life felt scattered. This endurance now marks you. It shows in the way certain places no longer fit your spirit, in the way some conversations feel shallow, in the way old patterns no longer call you back. This is not loss. This is alignment. When I raise you into who you truly are, I also begin to rearrange the world around you. Some doors close not to punish you, but to protect your direction. Some bonds loosen not because they were wrong, but because they cannot travel where you are going. I am not removing things from you to leave you empty. I am making space for what matches the future I have prepared. What is coming next will surprise more than those who doubted you. It will also touch those who believed in you quietly, those who spoke your name with hope when you were weary, those who stood beside you without demanding proof. When I lift you, I do not lift you alone. Your rising carries others with you. Your healing becomes permission for others to heal. Your wholeness becomes a mirror that reminds others of what they, too, can reclaim. This is why your life is not meant to be small or hidden. You are not gathering favor just to keep it for yourself. You are meant to release it into the world through your presence, your voice, and your example. The strength that life once tried to silence in you is returning now, not as noise, but as clarity. There was a time when speaking your truth felt dangerous. When standing in your authenticity seemed to invite conflict rather than connection. When your voice trembled under the weight of misunderstanding. I remember those moments. I remember how often you swallowed words to keep peace, How often you questioned yourself because others could not hear you clearly. But now your voice returns with wisdom rather than fear. You no longer speak to defend yourself. You speak to express what is real. The world is ready for this version of you. It is ready for the insight that only comes from someone who has walked through darkness and remained intact. I did not preserve you so that you would stay silent. I preserved you because your purpose requires breath, sound, and presence. Breathe deeply now and let this truth settle into you. You are not moving toward a season of constant striving. You are moving into a season of receiving. You are not approaching another chapter where you must prove your worth. You are entering a time where your worth is recognized naturally. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are stepping into convergence, where your identity, your calling, and your direction begin to meet without resistance. This is what happens when growth completes its inner work. The pieces no longer compete. They cooperate. And in this cooperation, peace becomes your foundation rather than your reward. My pull on your life is growing stronger as I draw you toward your next revelation. What once felt distant is now near. What once seemed delayed is now present. What once looked unreachable is being guided toward you without chase or force. I am not asking you to run after promises. I am arranging for them to arrive. This is the difference between effort and alignment. Around you, changes are already taking place that your eyes cannot yet confirm, but your spirit has sensed them. You have felt the gentle detachment from what used to feel familiar. You have noticed the subtle awakening that tells you the season ahead is not a repetition of the one behind you. This awareness is not confusion. It is preparation. You have also felt a steady courage rise within you, urging you to release old versions of yourself. Stories you have outgrown. Identities shaped by survival rather than truth. Connections that once helped you endure but can no longer guide you forward. Nothing about this process is random. Nothing is being dismantled without purpose. I am not only preparing your ascent. I am also preparing your release from everything that would weigh it down. Many misunderstood you because they could not interpret the unfolding of your story. They watched you walk through emptiness and assumed it would define you. They saw you face challenges alone and decided you were too fragile to rise. They witnessed your grief and mistook it for weakness rather than transformation. But I saw something else entirely. I saw the resolve you carried when giving up would have been easier. I saw the discipline you practiced when no one was watching. I saw the way your inner world grew rich even while your outer circumstances remained unchanged. I saw your faith mature quietly, without performance. Now I am ready to honor what you nurtured in secrecy. There was a reason some misjudged you. A reason others walked away. A reason your depth remained unseen while it was forming. If your fullness had been recognized too early, it might have been interrupted, altered, or claimed by those not meant to steward it. I protected you through obscurity. You were hidden, not forgotten. Preserved, not overlooked. And now, as you step forward, you do so complete, not rushed, not fractured, not dependent on validation. What lies ahead will feel both new and familiar. New in its opportunities, familiar in its peace. You will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by the absence of inner resistance. This is how you will know you are aligned. Trust this knowing. Trust the way your spirit settles when something is right. You have earned this steadiness through patience and faithfulness. And now, as you walk onward, remember this: you were never delayed. You were being prepared. And what unfolds next will confirm everything you endured was not in vain. There was a season in your life when remaining unseen was not a failure, but a necessity. You were not hidden because you lacked worth, but because your becoming required shelter. Growth does not always happen in the open. Some of the most important transformations take place where no one is watching. You were being formed beyond appearances, strengthened beyond applause, and anchored beyond approval. What felt like delay was actually alignment. What felt like silence was preparation. Now that season is gently closing, not with force, but with certainty. The version of you that emerges carries a quiet authority shaped by endurance, not noise. Those who once questioned your path will not need explanations, because your presence itself will answer what words never could. You are entering a rise that does not demand validation. It is peaceful, grounded, and unshaken by opinions. You no longer need to announce who you are becoming, because your life is beginning to speak on your behalf. This elevation is different from striving. It does not exhaust you. It steadies you. You are learning that true confidence is not loud, and true strength does not rush. It stands. It listens. It moves when the moment is right. You have carried lessons that could only be learned through time and experience, and now they are woven into your character. What is unfolding does not require permission from anyone, because it is rooted in truth rather than consensus. The power awakening within you is not pride, and it is not dominance. It is balance. It is the calm assurance of someone who has walked through uncertainty and discovered that their core remained intact. You have faced loss without losing compassion. You have encountered disappointment without becoming bitter. You have known grief, yet you still choose understanding. This is not accidental. Every challenge refined your perception, sharpened your discernment, and deepened your capacity to hold both strength and gentleness at once. You are no longer moved by instability because you are no longer unstable within yourself. What once shook you now passes through without control over you. As you look ahead, you will begin to notice how support arrives in ways you did not predict. Opportunities will not always announce themselves loudly. Some will arrive quietly, fitting into your life as if they were always meant to be there. People aligned with your purpose will recognize you without effort. Help will emerge from places you had overlooked. This is not coincidence, it is orchestration. The timing will feel sudden, but it is the result of long, unseen preparation. You are not being rushed forward. You are being placed exactly where your growth can be sustained. There are things you have released that once felt essential, and now you see that their absence has created space rather than lack. What you let go of was not meant to follow you into this next chapter. The weight you carried has transformed into clarity. The sadness that lingered has softened into steadiness. The confusion that once clouded your vision is lifting, not because every answer has appeared, but because you now trust your direction. Even solitude, which once felt heavy, has changed its nature. It is no longer isolation, but connection to purpose, presence, and meaning. Some of your earlier desires, if fulfilled too soon, would have overwhelmed you. You needed time to grow into the capacity to receive them without losing yourself. The pauses were not rejection. The difficulties were not punishment. They were protection. You were being spared from outcomes you were not yet equipped to steward. When alignment finally arrived, it did not demand effort. It flowed. It matched who you had become. What is unfolding now does not require you to chase or force. It asks for awareness, trust, and embodiment of the truth already formed within you. You are discovering that the greatest growth did not occur during your most intense efforts, but during your moments of surrender. When you stopped fighting reality and began listening to it, wisdom emerged. When you released control, direction clarified. The gifts now present in your life matured quietly, nourished by patience rather than pressure. This moment carries significance beyond what can be explained. You may sense a subtle shift in how you breathe, how you walk, how you respond. It is as though the atmosphere around your life has changed, even if nothing outward has dramatically altered yet. A gentle calm is settling into your being, not as an emotion, but as a state of alignment. It steadies your thoughts and softens your reactions. A quiet confidence guides your decisions. Hope awakens without urgency. This is not excitement rooted in uncertainty, it is peace rooted in knowing. Your inner world is beginning to reflect the life you are moving into. When inner alignment meets outer opportunity, change becomes sustainable. This is the true beginning of renewal, not marked by chaos, but by coherence. You have lived through contradictions that stretched your capacity to trust. You held on to promises while navigating obstacles. You honored insight while facing confusion. You maintained conviction in the presence of uncertainty. These experiences were not meant to diminish you. They were shaping your ability to live beyond surface understanding. Your path has been narrower not to limit you, but to deepen you. Your challenges carried weight because your future carries responsibility. This preparation was intentional. Every difficulty you encountered served as a revelation, not of weakness, but of identity. Each trial uncovered something authentic within you. You were not being tested to see if you would fail, but to reveal how much you could hold. The strength you now possess was earned through perseverance, reflection, and growth. And now, a reversal is unfolding in areas that once seemed immovable. What drained you is losing its influence. What diminished you is loosening its grip. Relationships that no longer honor your growth are gently releasing. Environments that once confined your expansion no longer resonate. This is not loss, it is realignment. Your inner being is guiding you toward spaces that can support who you are becoming. This movement may feel uncomfortable at times, even disorienting. But discomfort does not mean danger. It means expansion. Your capacity is increasing, and with it, your reach. Soon, you will notice progress that surprises you. What once required years will begin to resolve in weeks. What once felt endlessly blocked will open without strain. Solutions will appear where effort failed. Momentum will replace stagnation. This acceleration is not chaotic, it is precise. It is the result of being positioned correctly rather than pushing relentlessly. You are not rushing into the future. You are being carried forward by alignment. Trust what is happening within you, even if the external evidence is still forming. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where growth has prepared you to be. The unfolding ahead is not random. It is the continuation of a process that began long before you understood it. And now, as clarity deepens and peace settles, you are ready to walk forward, not striving to become someone new, but finally living as who you already are. My beloved son, there is a moment when what once seemed delayed begins to align with exactness, not because time suddenly hurried, but because you finally arrived at the place where fulfillment could meet you without resistance. You are standing at the threshold of that moment now. What once appeared unfinished was never abandoned, it was being refined beneath the surface of your becoming. This is not a season of vague hope or distant anticipation. This is the moment where intention meets action, where clarity arrives without confusion, and where movement occurs without strain. What unfolds from here will feel precise, intentional, and unmistakably aligned. You will recognize it not by its noise, but by its certainty. Nothing will need to be forced. Nothing will need to be chased. What is meant for you will find you already standing prepared. You are entering a time where events respond immediately to the readiness within you. Clarity will come swiftly, not because questions vanish, but because your inner sight has sharpened. Opportunities will appear suddenly, not because they were created overnight, but because your perception is now tuned to recognize them. Favor will move toward you naturally, not as a reward for effort, but as a confirmation of alignment. Connections will form with ease, without explanation or persuasion, because resonance requires no justification. These are not coincidences scattered randomly across your path. They are confirmations that you have stepped onto a course where interference no longer holds authority. The resistance you once felt has lost its relevance. You are no longer walking toward purpose, you are walking within it. My precious one, something profound has settled within you, a clarity that does not shout, but stands firm. The story I have been shaping inside you is no longer confined to your inner world. It is beginning to express itself outwardly, effortlessly, truthfully. Others may observe the changes and assume they happen quickly, but you know better. Nothing about this was rushed. Every layer was formed in silence, every strength was cultivated away from applause. This moment arrives not as a reaction to circumstances, but as the unveiling of what has always been true. I am not responding to external events. I am illuminating the reality that has been developing within you all along. You are moving out of obscurity and into recognition, yet not the kind that feeds ego or demands attention. This recognition serves a deeper purpose. It affirms design, not performance. It validates calling, not comparison. What is being acknowledged now is not who you pretended to be, but who you became when no one was watching. The most sacred part of this elevation is that it will feel natural to you. Not overwhelming. Not fragile. Not demanding. It will fit because you have grown into the capacity required to hold it. You are not stretching to receive these blessings. You are meeting them at equal measure, because they already exist within you. Understand this truth deeply, my son. Genuine blessings are not external possessions waiting to be handed to you. They are internal realities finally finding expression. What is manifesting now is not foreign to your spirit. It is familiar. It is recognized by your soul because it has lived there quietly for a long time. This grace does not come from outside approval, external validation, or borrowed authority. It rises from within, from the place where your essence and my intention have always been united. Pause within yourself and allow this realization to settle. You are not merely turning a page. You are stepping fully onto a path that was written into you from the very beginning. This journey belonged to you long before pain shaped your awareness. Long before loss taught you depth. Long before strength became your language. I have been lifting you even when you believed you were standing alone. No power has ever been able to diminish what was formed by intention. There were seasons when you sensed resistance without visible cause, when responsibility felt heavy without explanation, when your spirit carried weight that others did not seem to notice. You questioned why your inner world felt challenged even when your surroundings appeared calm. What you could not yet see was the uniqueness of your design. The path crafted for you naturally required expansion, and expansion often arrives through pressure. Every pause you experienced was protection. Every redirection was preservation. Every closed door was not rejection, but shielding. Nothing was placed in your way to stop you. It was placed there to keep you aligned with what would not harm your becoming. Now that the intensity has settled, I am revealing how much was guarded on your behalf. Some people exited your life suddenly, leaving confusion and ache behind. You did not imagine that loss. It was real. But their departure was not punishment. It was mercy. Their proximity would have limited your ascent, not because they were wrong, but because they could not walk the distance your path required. Opportunities you longed for failed to materialize, and you wondered what was lacking within you. Hear this clearly now: nothing was lacking. Those paths would have diverted you from the alignment you now stand in. Some connections felt promising, deep, even necessary, yet they concluded before reaching their potential. This was not because you were flawed or insufficient. It was because I knew they could not withstand the magnitude of who you were becoming. What ends does not always do so because it is broken. Sometimes it ends because it has fulfilled its purpose and cannot travel further with you. You may not have understood this truth at the time, but clarity is rising now. I was never withholding what was right for you. I was protecting you from what was not. The weight you carried through the years was not evidence of weakness. It was proof of capacity. I prepared you to contain more than most, to endure complexity without losing yourself, to remain steady where others would have surrendered. The resilience that settled into your spirit was not meant for those earlier seasons. It was meant for what you are entering now. True power is not forged in comfort. Purpose does not reveal itself in ease. Your identity was never meant to be shaped by approval or validated by applause. You were established through challenge, refined through endurance, and strengthened through moments where faith was your only anchor. Now, the man you have become through those experiences is ready to be seen. You no longer seek acceptance because you no longer doubt your worth. I have already affirmed you. This is why your calm unsettles those who still rely on external certainty. They do not understand how you remain composed in uncertainty, how you maintain expectation when circumstances shift, how you continue forward when logic once suggested surrender. They cannot trace your strength because it was not borrowed from circumstances. It was cultivated in intimacy, in perseverance, in unseen alignment. I strengthened your foundation long before your life reflected expansion. That foundation is now capable of supporting what is arriving. You are not entering a season that will overwhelm you. You are entering a season that will confirm you. The period beginning now does not reflect who you used to be. It reflects who you have become. You are no longer proving anything. You are expressing truth. Movement will feel lighter because resistance has lost its grip. Decisions will feel clearer because your inner compass is calibrated. You will notice that things fall into place not through effort, but through agreement. This is the fruit of alignment. Walk forward without fear. Nothing ahead requires you to be someone you are not. Everything ahead invites you to be fully who you are. Remain grounded. Remain attentive. Not everything will announce itself loudly, but everything meant for you will resonate deeply. Trust the pace. Trust the unfolding. You are not behind. You are exactly where readiness and purpose meet. What is manifesting now carries permanence, not urgency. Receive it with calm confidence. I am with you, not guiding from a distance, but walking within you, steady and sure. With love, God. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.